Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Teacher Jackie. And today we are going to evaluate the narrative on how the author develops the setting and the characters. Evaluate narratives and how the authors developed the setting and characters. Let us have a very short review first. Let us define first what settings and characters are in a narrative. The setting of the story refers to the geographic location and time within a narrative. The setting makes the story vivid and interesting. Usually, the setting is not said directly. Instead, clues are given for the readers to infer. In some stories, however, the setting can change. Time may not be described directly and can move back and forth. The place where the scene is happening can be changed abruptly. Characters in the story refers to the persons, animals, beings, creatures, or things around which the story revolves. Writers use characters to perform the action and dialogue along a plot line. Now, if you are going to evaluate a narrative, it means that you're going to put in your opinion. Opinion is an explanation or judgment about the story or narratives and what you have read, but this is not necessarily based on fact or knowledge. Basically, it answers the questions how and why. Have you been to Bucharest? Bucharest is the capital and largest city of Romania, as well as its cultural, industrial, and financial center. It is part of Europe. Today I'm going to talk about this young man from Bucharest. But before I share with you the story, the educated man and the peasant, let's learn some new words first. Words of the day: educated, peasant, countryside, wager, lay. Look at this picture. The first man that you see is a picture of an educated man. Now, the second person that you see is a picture of a peasant. Now, as you see, Bucharest is a city, but the background in the picture has no buildings, but it is a picture of a countryside. It means barangay or province in our own dialect. Wager is something that you do when you bet on something. Ito yung pustahan in Filipino. Lay is money. Romanian money actually. So, sa Pilipinas, mayroon tayong peso. Sa Romania, mayroon namang lei. Now get ready with your notes and your pen. Take notes of the important things, especially the settings and the characters and the things that happened in the story so that you can evaluate this narrative at the end. The educated man and the peasant. Once upon a time, there was a young man from Bucharest who had just finished university. He was proud of his knowledge and smarts, and so decided to leave the big city and make his way teaching peasants in the countryside. Immediately, he was met with difficulties. He found that people didn't take too kindly to being considered more stupid than he, for he was 22 and most of the people that he met were much older. If he was to teach them, he would have proved that he was smarter. Feeling confident of his powers, he made a wager with a peasant. If the peasant couldn't answer the educated man's question, then the peasant would have to hand over 3 lei. The educated man chuckled to himself.
This is going to be easy money.
The entire village gathered to witness the quiz. The educated man asked the first question.
What is the capital of England?
The peasant answered.
I don't know. I will give you 3 lei.
London.
The people gasped. They were impressed. The educated man pocketed the money and asked a second question.
What moves very fast, but doesn't look like it is moving at all?
The peasant answered.
I don't know. I will give you 3 lei.
The earth.
The educated man pocketed the money and asked a third question.
What goes up in the day and down at night?
The peasant answered.
I don't know. I will give you 3 lei.
The educated man had taken from the peasant a total of 9 lei. Now, the peasant was poor and his wife started to cry. However, at his turn, the peasant also wished to ask the educated man a question. But if he could not answer it, he would have to hand over 1,000 lei to the peasant. The educated man quickly agreed and thought to himself,
This surely a fool.
What goes in the morning with 2 legs, at noon with 4 legs, and in the evening with 6 legs?
There was a long silence and everyone was staring at the educated man. He searched his brain for a long time, but to no avail. He did not know the answer and had a choice but to hand over 5,000 lei, which was everything he had. Afterwards, the educated man was curious and so asked,
So what goes in the morning with 2 legs, at noon with 4, and in the evening with 6?
The peasant answered.
I don't know. I will give you 3 lei.
Did you enjoy the story? Now, let us try to answer some questions. Let's try to answer some of the questions. Who are the characters in the story? Obviously, we have 2 main characters in the story. We have the educated man and the peasant. Where is the setting of the story? As you see, the story took place in a countryside in Romania. Who was smarter, the educated man or the peasant, and why? This type of question can be answered with your own opinion. Whether you choose the educated man or the peasant, your answer will be considered correct, provided that you defend it with valid reason from the context of the story. Now I want you to remember this. If you are going to evaluate a narrative, it means that you are going to put in your opinion. And it is very important that you have to think first before you're going to say something about anything. It is very important that you are giving the right reasoning. Even if you're going to agree or disagree, it doesn't matter as long as you are going to support it with a valid reason. Now let us try to answer this question. Suppose that you're going to choose educated man. Now you will say, the educated man is smarter than the peasant because he was just 22 but he had finished his studies. But you know, I'd like to choose the peasant, so my answer would go this way. The peasant is smarter than the educated one because even if the peasant had not finished any course, he was able to throw a very clever question that the educated man failed to answer. All that matters is that you are able to support your answer with valid reasons. That's it for today. I hope that you have learned something from me. This is Teacher Jackie saying bye-bye.